The Morning Brew podcast with Jaffe and Razor, sponsored by Berkshire Bank Home Lending. Where you borrow matters. All right, so I like having Charlie McAvoy on my team. I do. And you know what? Damn it, I like having Jake DeBrusk on my team right now, too, as we welcome me into Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor. Post the Bruins 3-2 overtime victory over the St. Louis Blues. A game in St. Louis, a game that had it had a fast pace and intense feel to it, at least watching it, although maybe that was my stream. I don't know. Holy shit. I don't even know if I want to talk about it.
No, it's not worth talking about.
It's not worth. A lot of unhappy people, Razor, out there
really
watching.
So, for the most part.
Yeah, I agree. Not ideal, but let's move past that because I think we're both in agreement on that. We've also both done work with that network, and we move on. But yet, definitely not happy with it. But very happy with the Bruins because of the way that I thought the first period was okay. Right? I thought it was okay. Little puck mismanagement. I thought they had a hard time dealing with St. Louis's speed. Holy shit, are they good? It was some speed at times there. But their adjustments in this game, in particular, the second period, were tremendous. And it was as if they said, all right, you know what? We got no issue with this. We're going to handle it. And I was impressed. I really was. I was very impressed with the way that the Bruins handled themselves in this game.
No question. Tough building to play in. Good team. Very, very confident, hot team. They've been winning big games as of late, especially these overtime games. Took out Minnesota the other night. The Bruins and the defense they play as a team, as a 5-man unit, is as good as anyone in the league right now. And they continually, we've talked about it, and I know we don't like to lean on the shots on goal and shots against, but it is consistent. And had they lost tonight, they still would have almost doubled the shots on St. Louis. So they played the St. Louis Blues, a really good team. We're winning a bunch of games. They've basically doubled them in shots in over 2 games. And they gave up under 20 shots again tonight on the road after traveling before a bit of a road trip here. It's impressive. And I still really believe at the end of the day, that's what's going to hold up in the playoffs. I still believe defense is going to hold up. And if you can hold these teams that score a bunch of goals to a minimum, it's going to be a difference maker. And the Bruins proved it again tonight, going on the road and playing just that quiet, simple game and not giving anything up. They give nothing up. It's crazy.
Yeah, a total. So here are the stats. Let's run through those quickly, since I do know that some people, actually a fair amount of people, couldn't or didn't watch the game. They chose not to. The Bruins outshot St. Louis 35-22. They outshot them in the second period, Razor, 17-9. Really, really took it to them, especially the last about 16 minutes, I think it was or so. Face-off 60% to 40% in favor of the Bruins. They scored a goal, or they were down a goal in the first period. It's Pavel Buchnevich scored at the 11:49 mark, and then Jake DeBrusk in the second period early tied it with a rebound goal to make it 1-1. Taylor Hall ties it gives them the lead, beg your pardon, at 9:44 of the second, with a really nice tip shot in front of the net off of a punch shot from Derek Forbert. Robert Thomas scores a goal with 3 seconds left at the end of the second to tie it up at 2. The woeful end of period goal allowed again by the Bruins comes to rear its ugly head. But the Bruins then get through a scoreless third and win it in overtime, 48 seconds in, on a beautiful shot by Charlie McAvoy. But really, hell of a play by both Jake DeBrusk and Charlie Coyle. Some other statistics. Bruins out hit St. Louis 22-20. They tie in blocks 13 each. Takeaways. The Bruins, I thought this is key. The Bruins 16 takeaways in this game. But their neutral zone was very telling at times there with what they did after the first period. Just 11 for the St. Louis Blues. You bring up a point, Razor, about defense winning in playoffs more than the high scoring, et cetera. I think you're going to have games. By the way, I think we've seen this with the Toronto Maple Leafs in the years past. There's going to be games where they score 4 and 5 goals. It's how quickly can you just get that out of your system, out of your memory, right? Like you say, okay, they're gonna score. The Florida Panthers are going to score. The Toronto Maple Leafs are going to score, et cetera. But if you give them one game of scoring, are they going to be able to do it every game? That's going to be the key, is mitigating that.
No, that's right, and that's where the referendum's coming in, because to your point, you can the Boston Bruins scored 7 goals against the St. Louis Blues in the Stanley Cup Finals, but they lost the series, right? On the road.
Right.
So yes, it's about the day-to-day adjustments. It's the ability to recognize and believe in the system that you're playing, that maybe sometimes they're going to go in. Maybe sometimes they're going to score a couple on the penalty kill or the power play, and that's just the way it goes. But the way that these guys seem locked in defensively should be exciting for all Bruins fans, because it's been consistent, and they go on the road and they do it again against the St. Louis Blues team that's been really good. So
yeah,
the special teams are an issue for the Bruins. That's the one thing that is held true, like their defensive structure over the last 7 or 8 years. That isn't there right now. And you hope that's because of a few of the missing pieces.
Bruins 0 for 2 on the power play with just one shot on goal. And if I
Yeah, it's
remember
brutal,
correctly,
right? It
right.
stinks. It's beyond, like, it just sucks. And
It does right now.
it obviously needs 88. And it doesn't need 88, right? Like, I'm not saying it needs 88 because he's good. It just needs something new. It needs a refresher. It needs David to go out and just give everybody a little bit of energy, a little bit of happiness, because they're in a mental funk at this point right now where they're just fighting themselves.
Right. I almost feel like they're saying to themselves, we need David. We need 88 instead. I mean, I think the only shot was it on the first play on the power play? The first power play, I mean, that they had was when Marchand tried to get got a one timer off. I think if that was on net, I think that's the only shot that they got. It's like they move it, and then they just wait and they just look and then they just hope and then it's not enough. It's just nowhere near enough. The simplification is not happening. The puck, the quick puck movement's not happening. So they can't get Pastrnak back enough. Just for that alone, right there, quickly enough. I mean, that will change an awful lot. By the way, I didn't mind Curtis Lazar's game again at all tonight. I know he played about 11 and a half minutes or so, but he played a straight line game. Just talking of David Pastrnak, he took his spot. This was his opportunity to get it. He had a couple of shots on goal. He got himself to the front of the net. I believe he had 4 hits, if I remember correctly, in
I
this
would
game.
say he's a big reason why Hall scored. I
I
mean,
would
he's
say
flying around on the outside, then he gets himself to the front, and that leaves Hall alone in front.
Yeah, I agree. I liked it. And it's something I don't think you can bottle it for more than a couple of games, but you can. You can bottle this for a couple of games. He can do it again on Thursday in Pitt.
Sure.
It's a repeatable asset, as you call it.
Yeah, exactly. And again, he's a first round pick. He has talent in there. I think feels comfortable in the role he is. I think he's feels comfortable chipping it in and shooting pucks and getting to the net, but he does have hands. We've seen him with some skill, and he has that ability even along the wall, and I think that's what makes him a good fourth line guy, is that if it's in his zone, he doesn't always just bang it off the boards or just rip it off the boards and create. He has hands in zone to be able to make the right play. And I just think offensively, he's put himself in a position where he's the meat and potatoes guy, but he can hang with those guys. I think that was evident tonight. And to your point, it might not be 82 times, but
Just
2, 3, 4,
that's fine.
a couple minutes a game if he needs to. He's real serviceable there.
Yeah, he's going to say to those guys, "What do you need me to do? Don't worry, I'll do it. You just tell me where to put the puck, or you
Yeah.
tell me where to be, and I'll be." And he can get there fast enough. He can get there fast enough, and he can do that. All right, Charlie McAvoy, another special type of game. I mean, um, it was he gets the overtime winning goal. He has 2 shots in the game. He has a couple of takeaways. I felt like I noticed his stick work a lot in this game. I felt like I noticed where he was an awful lot. I know that the broadcast, and I'm truthfully not going there, kept talking about the Bruins not having Torrey Krug, especially when it came to the power play. That was a repeated theme throughout the entire night and ad nauseum. But I don't know. I think Charlie McAvoy, I mean, look, Charlie gets geeked up to play every game, but I think that there's probably something there, going in a mano type of thing in a game with Torrey Krug on the other end of the ice, showing that he's kind of, taken over parts of that role. And I really appreciate it. I don't know. I kept watching him and saying little nuances to his game, the settling of the puck, the short passes that you could hear him, you could verbally hear him, or audibly, hear him verbalize to his teammates where to go with the puck, when to outlet, etc. And I just, this year has been outstanding for him. It was a little up and down early on, Razor, but there's no doubt that this kid has put himself into a top tier category conversation. Not, I mean, I don't even, is it even a doubt now? And I don't have a number, top 10 in the league, whatever. But he's put himself into the upper echelon, not just contract wise, but actually playing wise.
No question. No question. And he's asserting himself. He's being a little more aggressive. He's being a little more, he seems more demonstrative. He just looks like he's like going to be the guy on the back end that's going to take over. And this is why they moved along with some of the leadership on the back end, waiting for Charlie to take over, allowing him to have room to take over like this. I think I really believe as well this, even though he hasn't been in the lineup, I think Lindholm adds to this. I feel like even in the last 3 weeks, we've seen a different Charlie offensively, and his minutes have gone way up in the last. He was playing 20 minutes every night. Now he's playing 26 a night. And we're going to see that in the playoffs. Listen, I'm running that kid 30 minutes a night. I'm running him 30 minutes a night May 1st because I think he has it in him. I think he's proving it now that he has it in him. And I think back to the point, Lindholm has given him confidence that they can dominate and they can really take over. And I think Lindholm has a different swagger to him, and having him around and having a guy that Charlie probably thinks is better, but sees a guy who is really confident in himself, probably gives a little bit to Charlie, to be honest. And with him out of the lineup, I feel like he's taken another step again. It's really impressive, and it's great to see him chip in offensively with that goal in overtime.
It's called a running mate. It's called a wingman.
Yeah.
Dude, when you're single and you went to the bar and you went with somebody that you could work it well, even if that guy didn't that night, you felt good. You knew that
he's coming in if you need him.
You knew that right. And every once in a while, when that guy wasn't there with you, you remembered some of the moves, so to speak.
That's right. Just one word he had. Just that one word that worked.
And it wasn't that you weren't good on your own at closing, but you know what? Now that you had that wingman for a while and you had the routine, I mean, who can't appreciate a good wingman or a
wing
good
person.
A wing person? Yeah.
Yes. Goes both ways.
Yes, it does. So hey, on and off the ice, it's all about scoring. Remember that. Remember that. All right, Jake DeBrusk. I wasn't being facetious when I said at the beginning that I'm happy that he's on the team right now. You and I talked at length before trade deadline, then after trade deadline, about where we felt that he could be and how he should be in the sense of how he's acting, how to comport himself and do. He's doing that and then some. He had a goal and assist in the game, 4 shots on goal. He had a takeaway, 1 giveaway as well, but his legs were moving. And I mean, when it's all said and done, could we have asked for any better performance? Really, any better performance out of Jake DeBrusk since the whole Is he going to be here? Wait, he just signed a contract. Okay, he's going to get traded. No, he's still here. What the hell's going on? 48 hours or 24 hours that we had March 20th to the 21st.
Could not go better. Best contract in the league, this guy.
Yeah.
$4 million right winger on the top line. It's incredible. And you give Jake credit, you give the organization credit, you give the guys in the room credit for sticking with him as well. And like again, he's got to do it in the playoffs. It's always a consistency with Jake. So until he breaks that consistency label,
Mm-hmm.
that will still be wanting that. And we talked about it post game in the suite off camera the
Mm-hmm.
other night against Pittsburgh, how great his game was, and how well Jake played without getting points. And again, that's the big deal. Like Jake always plays well when he gets his goal, he gets his assists. But he played really well Saturday afternoon, and he didn't get points.
Right.
That's another step, and that's going to be necessary for this group in these tough games again in the playoffs, for Jake to be noticeable, Jake to be have a great game without getting points. But tonight he got his points, he got his goal, he got his assist, and he's turned into an overtime killer with McAvoy and with Coyle. They have a great chemistry, and they've chipped in for 4 or 5 points at this point now that the Bruins need to stay out of 8th place.
Yeah, and I don't know if you caught it at the beginning of overtime when they were doing their in between, not even commercial, whatever it was, reset, and the camera caught Charlie Coyle on the ice. Jake was still on the bench, and Charlie went over there and gave him a little fist pump, and he said, "Come on, let's, we're gonna go." And then Jake was like, "Oh, we're out, okay, like we're gonna go." And he was like right into it, like he got out, and Charlie said, "Let's go finish this. Let's go take care of it. Let's go do it." Jake was like, "Yeah, I'm in," and he came out, and it was great. And I remember the conversation that you're referring to about Saturday post game. DeBrusk in that game played 19 minutes and had 3 shots on goal, had another attempt, had a takeaway, I believe, as well in that game. Regardless, he had no points, but like we noticed him. That is a key. We often talk about a player like a Patrice Bergeron is a good example. We don't always notice him, but at the end of the game, we're like, well, we noticed him. You know what I mean? Like he did the little things because he was around the puck and he was around the play all the time. And Jake's been doing that. So good for him, man. I mean, just excellent, fun stuff. And I got to tell you, man, this St. Louis team is good. They move the puck laterally. They move it east to west incredibly well. I mean, I thought a few times they were going to get the Bruins completely running around, but yet somehow, some way, the Bruins remained or found enough structure. They did. They found enough structure in that, and then they got some couple of saves from Swayman. I guess I saw one puck touch in Jeremy's game that I did not like. It was a breakout. I think it was into the skates of Grizzlick, and I'm like, oh, come on, like all of a sudden I know what I'm talking about as a non-goalie. After spending a couple of years with you, but overall, I like Swayman's game. I thought he killed the play when he needed to. Thought he made a couple of good saves. He made a glove save on Kyrou one time. I thought that was good. I had marked down a couple of other solid ones too. I liked his focus in this game. What did you think?
Yeah, he was good. He was good early too, right? You said the Bruins
Mm-hmm.
didn't really get to their game in the first period, and he had to make a few saves. I can't fault him on either of the goals. And again, it goes to so yeah, he was right there. He got another win on the road against a very good team. So that's back-to-back wins. Now you start feeling it. It wasn't a stolen win by any ways.
No.
And the Bruins don't. They've never relied on that. They just don't. They don't rely that on a weekly basis. You might need to do that in Pittsburgh. There's a good chance, they're back-to-back games on the road. Pittsburgh's dire, so you might see a little more offense from. You're going to see more offense from them than we did on Saturday.
Yes, I agree.
They were a sleepy team on Saturday. They're going to be more. So maybe you need Swayman a little bit more there, but as a goalie, you can only do what the other team's doing at you, and you can only do as much as what your team's giving up, and that's what the Bruins do so well. They just don't give up much. So yes, Jeremy was consistent. didn't give any cracks in his game, no extra rebounds, no extra opportunities, and he was down 1-0, but held strong through the first period, allow his team to get to a game in the second.
Yeah. And once they got to their game, it was in extra gear. It absolutely was. It was really pushing the defense of St. Louis into some areas that they didn't always love, and they got some good opportunities. Again, it's no secret, folks, getting pucks deep against them. No
No, I
secret.
know. And you just watch this game and you just imagine what it would look like if the Bruins were in the Western Conference, or if the conferences were flip-flopped and the
Hmm.
Bruins were one of those. Like, it's just it's as this team's really good, and they're in 7th place in their conference.
Hmm.
Right, like, they're a very good hockey team, and I think they showed it again tonight, and you talk about what St. Louis has done, but, it's amazing just how much better the Eastern Conference is than the West, and you see it when you play interconference games.
And we've talked about this before. It's worthy of an update, though, right here. The Bruins, with the
Mhm.
victory in St. Louis now, Razor, have 99 points. All right. They are 3 points ahead of the Washington Capitals, same amount of games played. But if you put those 99 points into the Western Conference, now they'd still be behind St. Louis, Minnesota, Colorado, and Calgary, but they'd be in fifth. They'd be above Edmonton. They'd be in second in the Pacific, but they would be in fourth in the Central Division. The Central has taken off lately between St. Louis and Minnesota. Holy smokes, have
Mhm.
those two teams taken off? We mentioned the St. Louis run. Same thing for the Minnesota Wild. They're 7-1-2 in their last 10 games. They've gotten themselves into a really good spot. But yeah, I agree with you. I mean, look, we know that the East is better than the West pound for pound, and that's what's going to make the first round so freaking tough and so interesting. And by the way, I think that Minnesota St. Louis series in the first round is going to be a beast as well. I think that's going to be a beast in the Western Conference.
Yep.
All right, let's tell you about the sponsors that help make this show possible. We'll touch on a few other things here on this morning brew with Jaffe and Razor. First one is what Razor's wearing right there, Bay State. That hoodie, Bay State Brewery, is located in Worcester. Their tap room is located in the Canal District in Worcester. It's at 112 Harding Street, and it's attached to 2 hockey rinks and just a couple of blocks from the new Woo Sox ballpark. Since 2012, Bay State Brewery has been handcrafting distinctive and drinkable beer. They have so many different type of unique beers, from the German classics like Hefeweizen and a Vienna Lager, a Kolsch, a Maibach, a Doppelbeck, and there's something for everybody. Razor, you and I have been trying a bunch of different ones there, from their Becky Likes the Smell double IPA, and
The
they've
light
got
one.
and the light one, the Mike Light. I love
Yeah,
that one.
I like
Again,
that one.
love that one. Go check them out. Again, in Worcester, 112 Harding Street, indoor and outdoor seating, video games. You can watch live hockey if one of your buddies is playing as well. And you can eat too. They got great food there. It is a fun place to go. Also, speaking of fun, Fazenda Coffee. You ready for fun?
No,
The
we're having
mugs
fun
are
now.
back. Here we go. Mugs are back. FazendaCoffee.com. Go to FazendaCoffee.com and order $45 or more, and you will get a free morning brew mug included with your order. Go to FazendaCoffee.com. Put in, I think if you go to, it's FazendaCoffee.com/morning brew, and you go to that link, you can order your coffee and get yourself a morning brew mug. The beautiful morning brew mugs are back again. Now, you can also order them individually without our buddy Pete over there, who just is, it's just amazing. Um, it's also possible to order them without spending 45 on coffee, but it's going to be a cost of, I think it's $25, because $20 plus $5 for shipping. So you're going to have to, deal with that. But it's still pretty damn good. And we really appreciate Fazenda Coffee for bringing the mugs back. And it's a limited edition mug. There's a fair amount of them there, but not that many. So don't hesitate. And as always, you can find Fazenda Coffee at places like Whole Foods and Davio's. Go to FazendaCoffee.com/morning brew, and you can order $45 or more and get your mug added right to your cart. And lastly, are your kids doing Max Pro Hockey at all this week?
Skate
Or
with Mace Man skate with Max tonight, but the twins have been doing their own little guy, the
all
little
right,
little thing with their buddies this morning. So, but
perfect.
yeah, saw Max today.
Beautiful. Max Grotchev at maxprohockey.com runs a fantastic program, individual, private training, group training, in-season team development. Go to maxprohockey.com and check out all the great stuff that Max Grotchev has going there. All right. I want to get to a potential quandary, not quandary, but question. I mean, another high sticking penalty on Mike Riley. I mean, he actually didn't play a bad game overall, Razor. It's intermittent. Like it's not feast or famine, but at times I guess it feels like it a little bit. I mean, when Hampus is ready to come back, is Riley the obvious takeout? Is that what we're at right now? I mean, I think the penalties. I think he's taken 4 high sticking penalties in the last couple of games alone, right there. I think that's got to put him on the short list.
Yes, and especially with the skill set of Lindholm with Grizzlick, hopefully staying healthy, and I'd love to see Lindholm get in and give Grizz just a couple days off too, because he's dealing with stuff.
Yeah, right.
He's nicked up and he's banged up. Like give him a couple of those games next week off where he can rest up. But yeah, where with all these penalties, I got to imagine like that's a killer in a 7-game series, and you get on the road against Toronto or Carolina, you can't have a random high sticking penalty. You just can't. You can't afford it. You can't deal with that. So that puts you way behind. So I would certainly imagine that he's not checking in on that final pairing. It's a Forbert Clifton and Forbert Brown, Forbert or
Mm-hmm.
Clifton Brown, something along those lines where you're dealing with a little more meat back there, and the puck moving guy like Riley is that takes penalties is just there's just no room come playoff time. Unless you get put in a situation where you're dealing with injuries and need a guy like that.
He's just got to be more in control of his stick. I mean, he's got to go into plays with the stick on the ice. He's got to have a firmer control
Mhm.
of it. It's you couldn't. I mean, you see the hit. I mean, he's lucky that he didn't. Was it shin? He's lucky he didn't crack him open and get a double minor there with the impact the stick hit him in the face.
Yeah, and again, I talked about on the last show that these guys in the NHL they have control over their entire bodies. This isn't so if it consistently happens, the problem is you're behind the play. You can't keep up with the pace, and if you threw a again, and not to
Mm-hmm.
diminish anybody out there that plays beer league, but if you go play beer league and then you get tossed in an NHL hockey game, I guarantee you're taking 28 penalties because you don't even know where anything's going. You can't keep up. Your sticks up. You're trying to grab a guy. You slot like you're discombobulated, and that's what is not to that extent, but and I would never do that
Mm-hmm.
to an NHL player, but when you're taking random high sticking penalties, that means you're a little behind and you're not quite as on the ball as you should be, and that's probably what's going to keep him out. It's certainly of game 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yeah, he goes into the with the end wall and he to make the hit and he just one hand on the stick and it's on the ice to begin, but then the hit takes him and he flings it. He flings around and you have to control your stick.
Mhm.
Again, just too much, enough. It's just not it's
It's a
not good.
trend. It's a big
It-
trend now.
yeah,
It's like it's a thing.
I'm with you. A couple of other numbers from this game that jump out to me. Patrice Bergeron just 15:25 of ice time. Don't mind that one at all. Brad Marchand 17:42. Neither of them record a point. I know we haven't seen many points out of Brad lately. What is it now? Just 2 points in the last, I think it's 8 games now, I think is what it is. Sure, I'd love to see him scoring more, but I'll take and I was watching him in this game and I thought he was more in control. I didn't feel like he was getting close to any line. You know what I mean? The last couple of
Mhm.
games, Razor at home, I won't speak for
Frustration.
you, but there was frustration and yes, he was ticked off and maybe justifiably so in a couple of them, but he was getting incredibly close to a line that, you know, could get him in trouble again. And anyways, I didn't see any of that in this game, which I find is a wonderful thing. I got to tell you something. I like the game of Mark McLaughlin again. The kid had 6 attempts in the game, 11:37 on ice, 2 shots on net, 2 missed and 2 blocked. He also had 2 hits. The kid's just bringing it, man. He's just bringing it right now.
He's playing himself into the NHL, and this is what it looks like. He's prepared. He works. He gets it. Seems as though his motor's always running. He hasn't let off the gas now that he's played 7 games and scored a couple goals. He hasn't had that lull. He recognizes that this game might as well be his first game, and Thursday night might as well be his first game. And, he really gets it. Seems as though from the outside that he's getting it. And
mature. He's got a mature approach to it already.
There's no question. And that's going to go a long way with this group, especially this group.
Yeah. So good stuff there. All right. The Bruins have Wednesday, when I say off, meaning they're traveling from St. Louis to Pittsburgh. Not a brutal ride, although you do lose an hour on the flight there. But you'll get in, and then they will play on Thursday in Pittsburgh. And Razor and I will be back with you after Thursday's game with another Morning Brew with Jaffe and Razor. And then the Bruins have a Saturday afternoon game at home against the New York Rangers, a 3:30 game at TD Garden. Anything else you want to hit on quickly before we wrap this one up?
No, they just need to get healthy.
Yeah, I know. Well, they keep saying that,
but they get wins.
Right, they're getting one. They keep saying that these guys could be coming back. They're hedging, not hedging. It could be. My guess is we'll see one of each of these guys, one Saturday, one Sunday. It's my guess. If not, I don't know. I mean, you'd love to play them both at home, and then if you win that game, then maybe you don't travel them to Montreal. I don't know.
Really interesting what they're going to do with this travel scenario, going to Canada, having to test again, the whole thing. Yep. I'm not sending anybody up there. I'm not saying anyone to Montreal. I'm definitely not. Toronto next week. Toronto is going to look like a preseason. If I'm in charge, there's no way I'm sending anyone up there for that 29th game. Not a soul.
Yeah, it's a great point. If let's just play it out real quick. So you have to test on Saturday heading up there, right? Before you get on the plane. So then if you test, and on Saturday, that means 5 days. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you could get out Thursday or Friday and then still have
that one's not as dire. But the Leaf game, absolutely, the 29th. But we'll get to that. We don't look far ahead in Morning Brew. I forgot that, but I'm just that's a wrinkle in healthy guys coming back.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, interesting. We'll have to wait and see how everybody goes. Maybe they'll be testing guys before they need to test them, maybe, so to speep, so they know if they are positive.
No surprises.
If they are positive, then start the clock now. More than then. All right, good stuff, buddy. Have a wonderful day on what is it, Wednesday with the kids. I have one more day at the NHL Network. I slept like shit the other night. I need to get some kind of a sleep tonight. I don't know. I'm a mess right now. I need to get back on some kind of wagon. I don't know what wagon, but I need some kind of wagon. Everybody have a wonderful Wednesday. Bruins win 3-2 in overtime. And Razor and I will talk to you after Thursday's game when the Bruins take on the Penguins. Please have a wonderful day, and please enjoy your coffee.